Hi everyone, welcome back to the Reddit drama channel with another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and like the video if you enjoy it. Also, please click the notification bell so you won't miss when another cheating story goes live. These simple clicks mean a lot to our channel, and thank you for your support.
She went on a week-long work trip barely talking to me, then I discovered, update 2. So I have a sad update. I have asked my wife to move out. I told her that I can see that the regret she is feeling is as strong as the hurt I am feeling, and that I do truly appreciate the effort she has put into saying and doing all the right things to try and reconcile what she has broken and steer our relationship to be mended. However, the reality of what she did to our marriage and the devastation she has caused has reached a new level for me. I simply can't look at her right now, and to be honest, I don't think our marriage will survive. Was it a mistake to read the letter, and have her read it to me? Many of you will say it was, and that I should have let it go, or that I was not emotionally ready for it. However, as I have said before, I came to realize that it really was never a choice I made or a decision I had. I was always going to read it. While some people are able to move forward without having full details and disclosure, I simply was not built that way. And I think it is one of those things where you are either built this way or not. Folks that are able to move forward without such details are very lucky in a way, but this just isn't me or how I was wired. I knew that knowing the full story and having complete equality of information was absolutely necessary for me to be able to move forward. It really was as simple as that. The alternative would have been continual thoughts and mind movies fucking with my head and sanity forever. So the answer is no, I don't regret it. Our destiny was, in many ways, set the night she started her affair, and there was nothing I could have done in terms of my choice around disclosure details to influence that in any way. That is not to say our destiny was set on divorce the minute she cheated. There may be decision points in the future that can change things one way or another, part of me certainly hopes so. But my decision to read the letter was not a binary one whereby whether I chose to read it or not could have altered our destiny or set us on a different path. I simply needed to have all the details to be able to move forward, and there was no compromising on that. The fact is that I held my wife in such high regard and had such an incredibly intense infatuation with her on a physical level, which also elevated my emotional attachment to her. And that is not to say I was clingy or anything. We both had a sense of independence that complemented our marriage. But I really only had eyes for my wife since we were together. Sure, I was able to recognize other women as being attractive just like any normal adult is able to recognize attraction in the opposite sex, but my desires and my own personal attraction was solely towards her. I traveled for work a decent amount pre-COVID, and there were many times I was working closely with women who were attractive. But I never cared, it was never a thought that crossed my mind. My focus and attraction was reserved for her. For 10 plus years, I expressed this devotion and attraction on an almost daily basis, and the act of making love to my wife brought me so much physical pleasure simply by virtue of being the only one that was able to share that with her, that she allowed to share that with her. It was simply that special to me. And I know that all husbands and wives have an attraction to their spouses, and I am not trying to elevate my level of attraction or diminish anyone else's. I'm simply saying that I was so obsessed with her and only her. I had been since the day I met her, and the way I was wired caused me to think about her literally hundreds of times a day. And as a result, my pain in this area may be harder for me to overcome than others who perhaps are wired differently. There will be folks who say I should have got IC or should have read the letter under the supervision of a MC or other professional. But at the end of the day, while yes, it was hard having her read it to me, it was the contents and not the delivery that has brought us to where we are now. Knowing the things she did with AP and the way it all played out, I just know that I am not going to be able to do certain things that a healthy marriage needs to survive. I'm never going to be able to kiss her again. I will forever picture where her lips have been. And what sort of healthy marriage is devoid of kissing? I'm never going to be able to be present when she is taking a shower again. I will forever picture the two of them showering together. Am I supposed to leave the house whenever she showers for the rest of our lives? I'm never going to be able to be in a hotel room with her again. Hell, being in one on my own will be shitty enough. Are we simply never to take a trip or travel ever again? And sorry to be graphic here, but I'm never going to be able to go down on her knowing that another man has not only been inside her but also come inside her. I am never going to be able to look into her eyes while making love to her. To be frank, the only way that I'll ever be able to actually physically have sex with her again is by visualizing her as nothing more than a piece of meat and essentially hate fucking her. And I don't want that. That is not who I am or what I need. And to be honest, while I know she would willingly accept that if it meant us staying together, it is not her either. Over time, it would destroy her and, ultimately, our marriage would not survive. My wife is a mess. I am a mess. We've both obviously been messes for months now, but this has a new fear factor to it. I'm scared of being without her. I'm sad that I was one of the lucky ones who found his soulmate but has had it ripped away from me, ironically by that same soulmate. If there is a God or higher power out there, they certainly have a sick sense of humor. I'm scared at the prospect of having to move on, of seeing her one day move on. I'm obviously not thinking about dating again at this moment, but even the sheer thought of that horrifies me. But it is what it is, this is just going to be part of my story, I guess. Anyway, she is moving to her parents' house tonight. I've been up front with her about what I need and plan to do. I've told her that we can't have any contact other than in relation to the kids, and even then, it needs to be kept to text and email unless there is an emergency. I've told her that in order for the disruption to the kids' lives with school etc. to be kept to a minimum, that they need to stay with me during the week and she can have them on the weekends, at least unless she gets her own place. I've told her that one of her parents needs to help facilitate pickup and drop off of the kids to help us avoid contact. I've told her that I'm going to start researching lawyers and begin getting divorce papers prepared, even if I don't serve these right away. I've told her that I don't want to keep the kids from her and that a 50-50 custody arrangement in the long term is fair, although it doesn't seem fair that I have had to go from 100% to 50%. I've told her that I will talk to my lawyer about financial matters and get their views and that she should do the same. She said she doesn't want or deserve anything, but I want it to be fair and reasonable. I'm really sad and scared of how this will impact my kids. They're still so young and, while they've definitely noticed that things with their parents have not been right the last few months, this will be devastating for them. I remember the hurt and impact my father abandoning us felt like. And I was 9. My kids are 5 and 6. I hope this is not the end. I hope that I can undergo some type of rewiring so that I'm able to one day be with my wife again and have what we had. But I also know that hope and reality are very different things. I would like to ask for guidance from some folks on specific questions I have, advice I need. 1. Anyone, BS or WS, who can share tips and advice for how to deal with NC, particularly when it comes to kids. 2. Any views from BSs, and BHs in particular, on whether they had a similar stance on the physical intimacy issues, and for those that were able to get past this, how do they physically have sex with their WW again knowing that another man has been there? I'm not really looking for advice such as saying it just takes time or something like that. I truly believe some BS just don't think about that aspect as much or are able to get over it and go back to normal, but there must be other folks like me where it is a much greater barrier. Here are some of the best comments from our community. I am so sorry you are dealing with this. But right now, I believe this time apart from each other would allow the two of you to work on yourselves. I would suggest some IC for both of you. There are co-parenting apps in the App Store which will help you and your wife plan calendars, arrange pickups, etc. They are meant to organize and limit direct contact with each other. While reading your posts, I was always amazed at the speed of your progress. Perhaps slowing things down a bit and allowing some healing to occur would help. Also, I think you need to come to the realization that those same feelings you had for your wife will never be the same. The answer is, are you able to come to terms with what your new normal would be? A new normal that feels differently about your wife, but still loves her? I can't answer that for you, but it is something to consider. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.